Hey, Max here, and I got a hot topic to talk to you Star Wars fans about in this episode. First, we're going to go on to the rumors in the news, and these are rumors. It's not confirmed, but there's a general consensus that we're finally going to get the Solo a Star Wars story official trailer during the Super Bowl or Monday morning's Good Morning America. So I wanted to give an update on that. But there's been a lot of speculation, division about Star Wars The Last Jedi, and there's been a lot of awesome Star Wars videos on YouTube about the toys, and they're sitting on store shelves. So I also wanted to do a video examining that and into examining the new, entertainment news isn't going to tell you this, but is Star Wars still a profitable franchise? And you may be like, what are you, crazy? It made over $1 billion worldwide. But we're going to go over that in this episode. And first, I want to give a disclaimer. Warning! This video contains rumors, speculations, and strong opinions, and a Mad Max. And I am upset because what Disney has done to our Star Wars franchise. And it's a lot less profitable than it used to be. And it's only getting worse as they churn out McDisney Star Wars junk. It's not breathing. The more they produce this stuff over and over and over again, it's going to keep sliding down. We need a jump in quality. But let's examine the toys. And I know a lot about toys, and you may not know that. I started this video, or this channel, to review toys and steelbooks and Blu-rays, not to do hot topics. I enjoy doing it though, and I appreciate all you viewers. I love to answer comments and talk with you about movies and Star Wars. But let's examine it. And something that recently happened is the cancellation of some new Forces of Destiny dolls, and that's very interesting. Okay, so let's talk about Star Wars toys. The true state of Star Wars. Follow the toys. And I think both sides of the divisive Last Jedi can agree on one thing. The toys and merchandise for The Last Jedi stink for this movie. And there's news about some toys being canceled, along with clearanced out Last Jedi toys. And this is very close. It's like a month and a half after that these Last Jedi toys started getting clearanced out. That's a really bad sign. That's not a healthy franchise, let me tell you. There have been excellent videos on YouTube about it, about toys and the state of Star Wars property and the decline of it. Really world-class videos, if you know what I'm talking about. And this video is to show you again, you should not listen to all of the entertainment news praising The Last Jedi and the Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson. Let's examine, get a clear picture. There have been numerous interviews where George says the money is in the toys. So I did some research for this episode, and here is what was said in a report about the Hasbro Disney partnership. And this is what I'll get to why this is important to examining if it is profitable. Hasbro and the Walt Disney Company have expanded their strategic merchandising relationship for Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars properties. And this is the statement from Hasbro. We are delighted to expand our agreements with Disney, Marvel, and Lucasfilm and continue building on our extensive and successful long-term relationships, says Brian Goldner, President and Chief Executive Officer of Hasbro. Disney's entertainment slate provides extensive content for both companies to build upon for years to come. The Marvel Amendment extends Hasbro's global rights to Marvel characters for an additional 2 years throughout 2020. And this is similar to Star Wars. Hasbro will continue to develop a wide range of toys and games for Marvel's more than 8,000 characters, including Spider-Man, the Avengers, and Iron Man. As part of the agreement, Hasbro will guarantee an additional $80 million in royalties to Disney with respect to Marvel-branded properties contingent on additional Marvel theatrical releases. So this is a lot of info here, but I thought I should share it even with the Marvel side too. The two companies have also aligned the terms of the Hasbro-Lucasfilm agreement following Disney acquisition of the company. Hasbro existing rights for the Star Wars franchise will also run through 2020. Additionally, in anticipation of the next 3 Star Wars sequels and the release of other potential Star Wars related entertainment that was not foreseen when the previous agreement was arranged, Hasbro will pay up to $225 million in guaranteed payments to Disney. $75 will be paid on signing, the remainder due in accordance with the planned release of the new Star Wars films. Star Wars episode... Okay, let me see here. Let's jump ahead because it's a lot here. And then there's another statement. We look forward to continue our successful partnership with Hasbro, says Bob Chapek, President, Disney Consumer Products, by delivering innovative, engaging... whatever. The important part of this article was how much Hasbro has to pay to Disney. $225 million guaranteed payments, $75 on signing the remainder at the beginning. So, fast forward to a little over a month after The Last Jedi is in theaters and Hasbro is canceling and clearancing products, while still required to pay $225 million guaranteed payments to Disney. And they don't want to make Star Wars toys. That is really telling. You pay all this money for a franchise and you don't even want to put out products on the shelf. That's how bad a situation the Star Wars franchise is in the toy and merchandising. And that's where you make most of your money. So, when it's time to re-sign after 2020, do you think they're going to get top dollar for Star Wars? I don't think so. Last Jedi action figures are bargain bin prices while it's closing out its theater run. That's not a sign of a healthy franchise. Star Wars isn't necessarily a movie franchise. It's a toy franchise. So every defenders you hear that say, oh yeah, $1 billion is a huge bomb, they do not necessarily know the ins and outs of business. Partnerships after the contract ends in 2020, along with toy stores going into bankruptcy. Toys R Us in the U.S. is going bankrupt. They're closing stores all over the place. This junk is sitting on store shelves. It's not even just for Star Wars. Toys in general and merchandise in general is just sitting there. Probably because of the quality and the trends in Hollywood to make Disney films, and that's not just Disney. This junk that we're getting, if you can't relate to it, if the characters aren't strong, if the movies aren't good and they're just bland and pandering to generic audiences, this is the kind of situation you get in. There wasn't very cool action sequences in The Last Jedi. They're very limited. There wasn't anything cool and new, and this is what you get from it. Also, a huge aspect of the Star Wars movies that are missing with Disney Star Wars compared to Lucas Star Wars are the amazing action set pieces that made fans want to buy toys and playsets. Remember the Death Star trench run, the Hoth battle, Jabba's palace, the speeder bike sequence, the Battle of Endor. The prequels had some amazing sequences too. Pod racing, Duel of the Fates, Battle on Naboo, Clone Wars, the beginning sequence, the start of the Revenge of the Sith, and the numerous duels of Obi-Wan versus Grievous, Yoda versus Palpatine, Obi-Wan versus Anakin. These were all great opportunities for memorable movie-going and fun. Something that is also missing from the new Disney Star Wars. It's fun to play with toys and recreate these awesome action sequences, and that's a big chunk of what's missing and why it's not as profitable as it once was. All they could do with the new ones is rehash old sequences, but with limited scope. Each movie has a scene that is reminiscent of the Cantina scene and just feels like hollow copying or anticlimactic. Even though The Force Awakens had that rip-off of the Cantina scene. Do something original. Do something real innovative with an action sequence. That's something George really did great. You may have problems with the prequels, but they still delivered in that area. And that's why the toys even sold for the prequels, at least better than now. In The Last Jedi, the crate scene should have been an epic battle, but no, we get a new AT-M6 that replaces the AT-AT and the Resistance speeding towards the AT-M6. And this is spoiler territory for The Last Jedi. If I still have to say that, I don't know. But instead of an amazing sequence, we get Finn trying to sacrifice himself, a Rose and Finn romance scene on Anakin and Padme levels, and then a disappointing Kylo and Luke final showdown that was extremely short. If you're going to have him project himself there, have an amazing sequence, and then we wouldn't be so disappointed. All the magic and creative action from Lucasfilms is all missing here. Now, the throne room was cool, but that was it. That, for me at least. Tell me if you agree. Tell me what you did like about The Last Jedi, the action sequences. Now let's take a closer look at how profitable the movie was. Let's take an examine in the possible budget. Now this is estimates based on what I did as best I could researching this online. Force Awakens budget was $306 million. Last Jedi rumored to be around $250 to $300 million. That's before advertising. Also, you have to consider operation costs for Lucas, R&D development, new stories. Lots of stuff costs money. They have a lot of employees that merged over to Disney that they have to maintain their salaries. Here's an article in the Hollywood Reporter, and this is just to examine promoting a movie and what it costs. And this was from years ago, so it's probably more, especially for a Star Wars movie, but it's worth looking into. One studio head said it's the most discussed and debated issue in Hollywood as marketing spends skyrocket. Summer box office declines in the U.S. and everyone fights to find audiences overseas. Okay, and this was when Paramount, I'm not commenting on the quality of Transformers in this video, but we all know, but it's just examining how much it costs. Age of Extinction has become the top grossing film of all time in China, earning north of $300 million. And Last Jedi would love that in China. What's more impressive is the Age of Extinction cost no more than $3 to $5 million to market to Chinese moviegoers. A stark contrast to the $100 million print and advertising spent in North America. Let me scroll down here again, just so I could skip some of this stuff. Now studios say it's hit the 200 million mark per picture. And that was when Age of Extinction came out. So it's probably more now. So when people say, what are you talking about? The Last Jedi has made $1,313,000,000 worldwide. You gotta look at the numbers and see it's not that profitable. Okay, $612 million domestic. Now, with the agreements Disney gets with movie theaters chains, they get about 65% of that. That's not all profit, the 612. So that takes it down to around 397 million. And now let's take the foreign numbers. 701 million worldwide in the foreign markets. Now, Disney usually makes a lower percentage in foreign markets, but let's be generous and give them that same number, 65%. So if we take 65% of the foreign markets, it's 455 million. That comes to 853 million, and that's generous. Production costs, I would give it, just as an estimate, 250 million. Advertising and marketing costs worldwide, 200 million. Final gross, not including other earmarks, back-end deals for executive actors and other movie contract stuff, is 403 million. Now, 403 million is nothing to sneeze at, but it's not nearly as profitable as the entertainment news would have you believe. And to have it, I actually think it's very damaging because you only made 400 and your franchise is suffering now. Toys should not be clearanced out and canceled this close to when The Last Jedi was in theaters. It's a really bad sign. You have to also consider what the damage has done to the fan base. You've damaged the property, and you have to reinvest that money into the next movie, writing and development, and damaged merch and toy market. You can no longer charge a premium for merchandise and toy partnerships after the contract ends in 2020, along with toy stores going bankrupt. And let's also take a look at this. Besides the Forces of Destiny dolls being canceled, these were also supposed to come out. Where are they? Sorry. Kylo and Rey 2-pack, the two most popular characters from The Last Jedi, and you can't have the doll set out for release? This should have been out already. This is another bad sign. Their stuff canceled. Maybe Forces of Destiny dolls are done altogether. They stopped production and these will come out eventually. That's happened before in the doll and toy market. When they halt production, they stop what they were going to make. They finish what they were in limited numbers and they may eventually get a release. But it's not a priority. So these should have been out for The Last Jedi. I don't see any reason why this specific 2-pack you would hold off on releasing it. And another thing that's contributed to this, beyond the quality of The Last Jedi movie, with the contract they have to pay to Disney, Hasbro had to pay $225 million in payments for the license. And it really shows in the final product on store shelves. These figures are junky to me. If you like or dislike The Last Jedi, just comment on the quality of the toys. I bought some of the Force Awakens figures, but I have no desire to get these. These look super junky, and they're priced higher. They're not worth the money. And it's even if say Episode 9 comes out and it addresses some of the issues and brings fans together, they're still going to have the issue of toy companies not wanting to jump on and make a lot amount of product for Episode 9. They're going to be super cautious after this disaster in the toy market. And I am calling it a disaster, and I know you've watched other videos on YouTube that are great talking about this issue, and I think it's based on their videos, it's pretty apparent what's going on. I also want to give a shout out to a viewer, Keith the Aquarian. You are 100% correct, my bro. What Disney is doing is horrible and irresponsible for us, the fans, and even themselves. That's the great point, and that's why I include this comment. It's bad for themselves. I'm getting the feeling that the same way music has died, sold out, is going to happen to movies. And you're right, Keith. It's not just Star Wars. All of our properties are getting generic, bland, mass market products that have no souls. Just like the music industry. Maybe you disagree with that, but the music industry is not what it once was either. It is happening to movies. Only very young people who aren't aware what is going on is their target audience. Yes, younger people, there's some really intelligent young people out there, but the ones that go to movies just to go and are on their phones before, and unfortunately during the movie, that's another issue. I cannot stand people on their phones during the movie. But they don't even care. Maybe that is the next step. They're going to let people be on their phones because the product and the movie are horrible. Great comment. And I'm going to give you my final thoughts here. So my final thoughts. Star Wars is in dire shape. Division among fans, fatigue, declining quality in movies and products, probably because hefty licensing costs, Hasbro makes cheap figures. Toy stores are dying, and the cost of production and operation costs for all the Lucasfilm Studios, Skywalker Sound, and costs to develop new properties to keep everything going, Star Wars is not worth what it once was. And the more McDisney turns out the junk, the margins will get smaller and smaller. So I really appreciate you joining me on this Hot Topic episode. I want to hear from you. I want to talk with you in the comments. And this is where I remind you, you don't have to follow me anywhere. All I would like for you is to join the conversation and join me on the next Hot Topic.